Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to do an embellished beaded bezel for the evening star necklace. So there are a lot of ways to embellish a basic beaded bezel. The way I'm going to show you is just one possibility, and it's for this specific piece here. So I'm going to start with the beaded bezel done. We do have a video on how to do a basic beaded bezel. So if you don't know how to do that, go ahead and watch that one first and do that part first so that you can start with yours done also. So this is the same thing. This is the evening star necklace, and I just did another variation here of that same piece, and this is what I'm going to show you how to do. So in the basic beaded bezel here, I used one color of 11-0 round seed beads and two colors of 15-0 round seed beads. So I have those here that I will also use in the embellishment, and I also have a size 11-0 Delica bead and a 3mm crystal bicone. I'm going to start with probably about 4 feet of crystal FireLine. If you're using all dark colors, you'll want to use smoke. So we're going to weave up. Just go ahead and start at the back in probably the second row there, and just bring your needle through along the diagonal, straight through. And you want to get to your third row in, which is going to be the first row where the 15-0 beads meet the 11-0 beads. And then you're going to, I'm actually going to, because I'm going to be tugging on this a lot, I'm going to knot this now. So if you have a second needle, or if you don't, you can just take it off. I want to be able to give my work a nice strong tug to tighten it, so I'm going to go ahead and tie off my tail and weave it in. It's also going to be kind of a lot going on, so you don't need all that extra thread hanging around. Pull your knot really tight, and then just weave in a little bit and trim that end off. So once you have your tail all secured and ready to go, we're gonna start by exiting a 15-0 seed bead in the first row of 15-0s, right next to the 11-0s. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take our accent color, the 15-0s, the ones that we had at the very last row in the bezel. Take 3 of them on your needle, and then you're going to go right back down through the next bead in that row. And make sure it's not twisted. Should make a nice little triangle point. You're going to get one of the main color 15-0s and go through the next bead in that row. And you're just going to alternate between each bead in the row. So I have 3 of these white 15-0s, and then 1 of the turquoise. And with this particular bezel that we did that had 36 beads in the original round, it's going to work out nice and even so that it will alternate. You'll end with a single turquoise. Okay, when you get back around, the last spot should be for a single turquoise bead. So go ahead and go down through that bead and then right through that next bead, which is the 11O bead. Just keep going at the diagonal and go through the next bead there. Okay, so that's the first row of embellishment. You can see it's really pretty just like that. A lot of this stuff is just layers of different embellishment. You can kind of do anything you want here. So if you like it this way and you want to do the different next row a different way, it's really open to imagination here. But to do this particular one, the next row, we're going to grab one turquoise bead. Then we're going to grab 3 of the Delica beads. And then 1 more turquoise bead. And in this row, we're going to skip a bead in a bead each time in the row. So you're going to skip the next bead in the row and go through the following bead. And then just continue like that. So 1 turquoise, 3 of the silver, 1 turquoise, skip the next bead and go through the following bead. And when you've come all the way back around, it should line up perfectly, and just go right down through that next bead in the row, or the following, skip the one, go through that one, and then go at a diagonal right through the next one as well. And that's what your second row of embellishment should look like. Kind of looks like a little flower at this point. For the third row, we're going to go through the next bead in the next row at a diagonal, and then back up so that we're going through this 11O bead in the middle row of the 11s. That's just inside the edge of this unit of embellishment. And we're going to do a little bit of a back stitch now for this next row. So we're going to grab 1 of our round 11Os, our teal beads, 1 turquoise, 1 of our crystal bicones, another turquoise bead, and another teal bead. This is the unit for this row. Now what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to do a back stitch. So instead of moving the direction of the thread, we're going to move back the other way. Go ahead and go to the next bead in the same row, and you're going to head through that in the same direction as you did when you came out of that bead. So we're heading this way, you're going to head this way again. Bring your needle down through the bead and through the next bead towards the back. If you can't get it to go through, sometimes if your work is nice and tight, it can be harder. Go ahead and just bring it out and then bring it through the next bead. And you pull that tight, you see that you get that nice bicone right at the point of the row before. So we're going to continue to work these, which means we need to weave ourselves to this bead here, which is the middle row of the teal beads right before the edge of this unit above. So the easiest way that I found is to actually continue into the next bead, which is that 15O right there, and go in those 2 beads, and then again go into the next 15O and up into the 11O, and go through those 2 beads, and then you're only one bead away from where you want to be. So right through the bead you want. And again, it's one teal bead, one turquoise bead, a crystal bicone, one turquoise, and one teal. And we're going to go back again to the next bead in the row, the prior bead in the row, and go down through that bead and the next one in the next row. And pull that tight. We'll go down to the 15-0 and up through the next 11. You want to pull these nice and tight because these have a little bit more movement and the next row is going to be based off of them. So the finished piece does have movement to it. It's not really rigid, but you do want to make it as stable as possible. So go through the next 15 and the next 11. And then through the next 11 up. And that's where we're going to do our next unit. To the prior bead in that same row. And through that bead and the next one down. Pull it snug. And then you're going to work back where you want to be, so those two beads, those two beads, and out the next one. And this row is the hardest one, so if you get this one figured out, then you're good. You're going to go back through the last bead and the one next to it. Pull tight through that 15 and 11, through the next 15 and 11, and then the next 11, and just continue all the way around. And once you've put in your last unit, go ahead and go right back. When you go through your two first beads here, don't go up as before. Instead, you're going to go right back up through the bead that was the original bead in that unit. Because what we want to do is work our way back into that unit. So once you're coming out of this bead here at the base, go ahead and go through the first three beads and come out your bicone. We're going to do our last little bit of embellishment here. It's row 4 or 3.5, kind of. It's built off of the last row. So this one's going to be 3 delicas, 3 of the silver, and then 1 of the turquoise, one of these milky white opaly color. We're going to skip the last bead strung and go back down through your turquoise bead here. Hold on to the last bead and pull that tight, and then string 3 more of the silver delicas and head through the next bicone bead. And go ahead and pull it snug, make sure that it's really tight at the little point there. You're going to do that all the way around, so 3 of the silver, 1 of the turquoise, 1 of the white. Pull them down and go back through the turquoise, skipping that last bead. And hold on to the last bead and pull it down. And then 3 more silver beads. And go through the next bicone. And when you're all done, you're going to go right back through that first bicone. And then just weave your way down back onto the basic part of the bezel here. And then you'll just tie your thread off and weave in your end. And that's how you do the embellishment for the beaded bezel for the evening star necklace. And this necklace is going to be a project on the Beadaholique free projects page. So if you want to see step by step how to do the whole thing, how to do the bezel and embellish it and make the necklace and attach it with the clasp and everything, then check out the free project page, because it will give you all of the materials that you need and step-by-step instructions. So that will teach you also how to attach this to this, which basically is just stitched through if you just want to experiment on your own. And also don't forget that this is just one way to do this. There are countless ways to embellish this beaded bezel, so feel free to play and experiment.